calling all forward-thinking estheticians. It's time to redefine the art of skincare and embrace a revolutionary approach that begins with your client's skin cell health. I'm pharmacist Ben Fuchs, welcoming you to Truth Treatment Systems, where beauty begins at the cell. We believe you're not just a beauty professional, you are a healthcare professional. You want to make a positive difference and you want to make a good living, and we will help you do both. We're here to support your out-of-the-box thinking and empower you to question traditional products, outdated formulations, and old-school ingredients. Imagine a world where solutions to the skin's enigmatic conditions lie just beyond the horizon. At Truth, we're not just a skincare brand, we're a movement that encourages you to explore better solutions and find that aha moment that changes the game. You are an artist and a healer of the skin, and we're here to provide the canvas and the tools for you to create tailored protocols, leaving generic ones in the past. Sign up now at truthtreatmentspro.com and receive 2 complimentary mineral-rich electrolyte sheet masks. That's truthtreatmentspro.com, where healthy skin is beautiful skin.
This podcast is sponsored by LAMPROBE. LAMPROBE is a popular aesthetic tool that enables skincare practitioners to rapidly treat a wide variety of common minor skin irregularities, or MSI. Red MSI treated by LAMPROBE include dilated capillaries and cherry angiomas, yellow MSI, cholesterol deposits and sebaceous hyperplasia, and brown MSI treated include skin tags and more. LAMPROBE MSI treatments are non-invasive and deliver immediate results. LAMPROBE can empower your skin practice with these new and highly in-demand services. For more information, visit lamprobe.com. That's LAMPROBE.com. And follow LAMPROBE on social media at LAMPROBE.
Hello and welcome to ASCP and the Rogue Pharmacist with Benjamin Knight Fuchs. In each episode, we'll explore how internal and external factors can impact the skin. I am Maggie Stasek, ASCP's Education Program Manager, and joining me is Ben Fuchs, skincare formulator and pharmacist. Hi, Ben.
Hello, Maggie.
So, enzymes in skincare, they're utilized by pretty much all estheticians, and they offer a gentle and delicate method of exfoliation. But what are they exactly?
Well, when most people think of enzymes, they think of exfoliation, right? And most estheticians have some experience using these exfoliating enzymes. But got to digress just a little bit and talk about what an enzyme is. So in the body, you have this biochemical factory where things are constantly being produced. Basically, all these molecules that are being produced from precursors, right? So I like to think of it as A plus B equals C. So, for example, for collagen production, you have 3 peptides. There's 3 amino acids that make collagen. So it's A plus B plus C, in this case, equals D. So basically, it's a couple things being stuck together to make a third thing. That's how the body works. But if we just had to depend on the random interaction of A hitting B to make C, nothing would ever happen. Because you got all these zillions of chemicals in the body. How likely is it that A will meet B to make C? Very unlikely. Thus, the importance of enzymes. What an enzyme is, it's a molecule that has 2 sides to it. And I'm being very simplifying. This is simplifying here a lot. So you have a molecule has 2 sides to it. The 2 sides have a space for A and a space for B. And by virtue of pulling A and B together, it speeds up the reaction. We had to depend on randomly bumping into B in order to form C. Nothing would ever happen. But an enzyme speeds that process up dramatically by pulling A and pulling B together so that they can interact to form C. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Explain that?
Yeah.
So it's like an adapter of sorts. So this adapter, A plus B, facilitates the movement, the connection of A to B to form C. That's all an enzyme is. They call it a catalyst. Catalyst is something that speeds up reactions. Some people say it's a biocatalyst. It speeds up biological reactions. So it forces A and B together so they can turn into C. That's basically what an enzyme is. However, there's 2 classes of enzymes in the body. There are enzymes that are responsible for pulling A and B together so that a third subject can be produced. Those are called metabolic enzymes because they facilitate metabolism. The second class of enzyme, which is the enzyme that most of us think about, and it's really not it's a relative to the metabolic enzymes, it's a minor class of enzymes. It's still very, very important, but the metabolic enzymes are the ones that run our biochemistry. The class of enzymes that most people think about and that you're mentioning that estheticians use, those are called digestive enzymes. And that's the second class of enzymes. And that's what most of us think about when we think about enzymes, despite the fact that most of the enzymes in the body are metabolic enzymes that are helping make things. Those digestive enzymes come in three forms: digestive enzymes that dissolve protein, digestive enzymes that dissolve fat, and digestive enzymes that dissolve sugars, carbohydrates. And they do this dissolving process in the same A plus B fashion. They pull A apart, they pull out A, and they pull out B. In the case of digestive enzymes, they're destructive enzymes rather than building enzymes. But it's the same idea. They're pulling things apart, pulling A and they're pulling B together so that food can be broken down. And those are the enzymes that people think about when they talk about skincare enzymes. There's still a bunch of other enzymes. I'll talk about that in a second.
So is there any difference between skincare and enzymes and digestive enzymes that you may actually take a pill?
No. It turns out that enzyme molecules that are in the body, we'll call them by their names, okay? Protein-dissolving enzymes are called proteases. And by the way, the ASE at the end of a word, ACE, tells you you're dealing with an enzyme. So whenever you hear ACE, probably the most famous one that we've talked about in the past is tyrosinase inhibitors. So ACE refers to an enzyme, okay? So enzymes that dissolve protein are called proteinase. Enzymes that dissolve fat are called lipase. Enzymes that dissolve sugars are carbohydrates are called amylase. Those are the three main digestive enzymes. And in the body, there's lots of things that act like an amylase. There's lots of things that act like a lipase. There's lots of things that act like a protease. And in nature, there's lots of things that act like a protease and a lipase and a amylase. It turns out that in pineapple, there are molecules that act like a protein-dissolving enzyme. They call them proteases, specifically something called bromelain in pineapple. In papaya, there's a protease called papain. And those are the two most important enzymes that are found in nature that have digestive functions. And you can actually eat papain and you can eat bromelain in order to support your enzyme activity. And there are natural enzymes you can buy at the health food store that are papain and that are bromelain. Those are the enzymes that most estheticians are using on the skin, because it turns out that keratin is also a protein on the skin, and proteolytic enzymes are enzymes that dissolve protein like papain and bromelain. In addition to eating them and having them help you break down your protein in your belly, they'll also break down the protein on your skin. And so they can have an exfoliating effect and a stimulating effect. I don't consider them as important as alpha hydroxy acids, which do the same thing, because enzymes, while they have that exfoliating effect by dissolving protein, keratin in the skin, don't drop the pH. With alpha hydroxy acids, you get a drop in pH, which has a wonderful stimulating effect above and beyond the exfoliation stimulating effect. So alpha hydroxy acids and beta hydroxy acids are still the preferred way to topically exfoliate, but enzymes can have an exfoliating effect too, bromelain and papain specifically. But those are the ones most people think about. But there's other enzymes that have functionality on the skin that aren't exfoliating enzymes, like we mentioned, tyrosinase inhibitors. Now, I shouldn't say that's not really an enzyme, obviously. That's an inhibitor of an enzyme, and that has skin lightening effects. There are enzymes that are used that are said to be DNA repair enzymes. And these are enzymes that are found in products that help mitigate photo damage. One of the problems with exposure to the sun is it can cause DNA disruption, and it can lead to photo damage, photo aging, even cancers. So DNA repair enzymes are another class of enzymes that you'll sometimes see. There's an enzyme that has a really powerful free radical scavenging effect. Free radicals are byproducts of oxidation, and they are associated with aging. There's a really, really powerful enzyme in the body called superoxide dismutase. I don't know if you've ever heard of that.
I have, yeah.
Superoxide dismutase is a super powerful enzyme that's found in the body. It's used sometimes in skincare because of the unstable nature of enzymes. Remember, they're really active molecules, and anytime you have activity in chemistry and biochemistry, you have instability. The more active something is, the more unstable it tends to be. So superoxide dismutase is very, very unstable. It's not a great skincare product. And in fact, enzymes in general are unstable molecules. And so they're really a little bit difficult to work with. They're especially unstable to water. So if you have a water product like a cream or a lotion and you have enzymes in there, the shelf life of that product is not going to be really long, and it makes them a little bit difficult to work with. They're not totally practical. For the esthetician who wants to use enzymes, the best thing you could do is buy enzymes, powder, and make them fresh. They do stink a little bit. They tend to have a sulfur molecule, so they have a little bit of a sulfury smell to them, good strong enzymes. But you can get some nice effects if you make a fresh enzyme product. You buy enzyme powder and add it to water and then just use it fresh rather than buying a pre-made enzyme product. And by the way, have you ever heard of Adolph's meat tenderizer?
No.
You never did?
No.
No.
You put that on your face?
Yes, exactly. You put it on your face. Adolph's meat tenderizer is protease, is papain.
Oh, okay.
Typically.
Yeah.
And so for the esthetician who wants to experiment with using enzymes on their patient's skin, go to the grocery store and get some Adolph's meat tenderizer. And the meat tenderizing effect that it would have on a steak dissolves the keratin, dissolves the protein on your skin. And you can get a nice enzyme peel just with some Adolph's meat tenderizer for I don't even know how much it costs, but it's pretty cheap. Lipase, which is the fat-dissolving enzyme, can be used to treat acne skin, especially for hypersebaceous acne or sebaceous hyperplasia. Anytime you have a lot of sebum on the skin, lipase can help break up fat. There's not really a lot of use for amylase that I know of on the skin. Oh, there's preservative enzymes. There are actually enzymes that can be used to support preservation. Peroxidases and DNA enzymes that help break up DNA and bacteria can be used as preservatives, and that's another place where enzymes can be used. So mostly when people talk about enzymes, they're talking about exfoliating enzymes, skin softening enzymes, proteolytic enzymes, that is bromelain and papain, which are the two most famous skincare enzymes that most estheticians will have heard of. But then there's lipase, which is another digestive enzyme, which will break up sebum and oil. And then there's the protective enzymes like superoxide dismutase. And then there's the preservative enzymes. Those are the most important classes of enzymes.
Can you take a powder enzyme and add that to your cleanser, or is that going to break it down?
No, absolutely. And in fact, it's a great idea, but you got to use it quickly because the water breaks down enzymes. Enzymes will break down and they'll release this sulfur smell and it'll be kind of gross. So you got to use it really quickly. You can buy enzymes or meat tenderizer and add it to your favorite products, but you have to use it quickly. And that's what I say it's the freshness of the enzyme that is a marker of its effectiveness. As time goes by and the water reacts with the enzyme, it will lose effectiveness, it'll break down, and it'll also start to stink.
That's interesting because I always thought that enzymes had to remain wet to be active.
They do.
So in the treatment room, if you put on, say, like an enzyme mask and then you have the steam blowing on it the whole time, is that breaking it down? Eventually,
but at first it's activating it. So that's what I'm saying, that activation and instability go together. Instability is like what happens after something's been activated for a long period of time. So the water initially will cause activation, but then over time, it will cause it to break down. And by over time, I mean minutes. It'll gradually start to break down. So that's why you want to use your enzyme products. For best effect, you want to use your enzyme products fresh. There are topical products that have enzymes in them, but those have a relatively short shelf life, and they're not going to have the same effect as if you made an enzyme solution fresh and then put it right on your client's skin. And it's really easy to do. Papaya, papain, and bromelain go right into water, so it's super easy to do. They're a little bit pricey, but you can get some nice benefits. Not as good as the HAs, in my opinion, but you can still get some good exfoliation benefits.
That concludes our show for today, and we thank you for listening. But if you just can't get enough of Ben Fuchs, the ASCP's Rogue Pharmacist, you can find him at truthtreatments.com. For more information on this episode or for ways to connect with Ben Fuchs or to learn more about ASCP, check out the show notes.